Oh, you can't have my tea. You can't have my tea. Nope, you can't. Excuse me.
Hey everyone, I finally made it home today. As you can see, the roads are really gross. That is actually the road right there. Like that's the house across the street. So the roads are just terrible right now. We got some snow like Saturday and a little bit yesterday on Sunday. And then last night it turned into like this like freezing drizzle, I don't know, kind of stuff. And it's been doing that on and off all day today. So on top of having like the snow that's already there, now it's like icy on top of that. I don't know. So anywhere that they had the roads like kind of cleared up is now ice. So super fun. My 35-minute commute ended up taking me a little over an hour to get home today. So everyone's just taking it really slow and, just trying to make it home safe. So anyway, it was freezing. I had, because of the freezing, like drizzle that's like on the windshield and actually freezing on the windshield as you're driving. And so I had to have my like defrost on full blast to keep that from like freezing, which is fine, except for my feet were freezing. And so I got home and I'm like, okay. And I'm like putting on like fuzzy socks and slippers and my sweatpants and like a sweater and made some hot tea. And I'm just like, I'm done. I hate the cold so much, which is funny because, I hate the heat too. Like I'm not happy either way. In the summer, I think that I'm ready for winter. And in the winter, I think I'm ready for summer. But really, I'm not happy unless it's between like 60 and 80 degrees is like my sweet spot. Anything less or more than that, I'm like, no, I hate this. So I'm not very easy to please when it comes to weather. But anyway, so today is a Monday, February 8th. Day after the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, the Chiefs lost. So sad day, but that's okay. I'm here today to talk to you about the books that I'm planning on reading in February. So I had intentions to read the second book in the Way of Kings series, which is Words of Radiance. I'm reading this with like a buddy read in my book club. And a lot of people didn't get finished with The Way of Kings in January, which is like totally understandable because it is like a massive book. They all are. And so anyway, they went ahead and decided to move the second book back to March. And I was kind of debating whether or not I wanted to go ahead and read this in February or if I wanted to wait until March. And I decided to wait until March. It's just such a big book, and there's a couple of like new releases that I pre-ordered for this month, and one of them is actually a fantasy novel, A Court of Silver Flames, and so I just didn't really want to read those in the same month. I figured I would just, take a break from this one and pick it back up in March. So will not be reading that one this month. So what am I actually going to read? One of our discussion books is The Midnight Library in my book club, which this one is being talked about a lot right now. Everyone seems to really enjoy it. Basically, this woman like tries to kill herself, and when she wakes up and she's like in this weird like in between like life and death, and it's called the Midnight Library, and like basically she gets to like open these books and like live another life, and she just like lives all these lives and everything, just nothing like, the things that she thought would make her happier would be, what would make her happy in life, she lives that life and it's actually not the answer to her problems. And so it's just a really interesting, like very like hard hitting, like it's definitely a very emotional book. But anyway, so yeah, I plan on reading that one. I also got Shipped, which came out, I think, in January. This is one of my most anticipated reads. And this is just like a cute little rom-com. Like basically these two people are like competing for a promotion. And so they actually get sent on the cruise. So they work for a cruise line and they get sent on a cruise so that they can like experience it as customers. And so it's kind of about, them like going back and forth. And of course, at some point they fall for each other. But they say that it's like a Unhoneymooners meets The Hating Game, so should be interesting. Okay, I'm also going to read Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. This has been on my shelf literally forever, and I just haven't picked it up yet, and I don't know why, because I absolutely love Kristen Hanna. I read her The Great Alone, which it just blew me away. And so I don't know why I haven't read this yet, but I haven't. But anyway, as most of you probably know, there is a Netflix series that's coming out this month. It might already be out, I don't even know. But I just was like, I want to read it before, I start watching the series. Like I want to watch the television series, but I don't want to do it before I read the book. So I'm planning on reading that. It's a pretty thick one. All right. One of my most anticipated reads was The X Talk, which one of my friends got this for me. Dominic, thank you so much for getting this for me. This is like about two people which I thought they were going to be exes, but when I was reading the synopsis, they actually aren't exes. But they have an idea to get their ratings up to do this like podcast where two exes give like love advice. And so they pretend to be exes, I guess, to like host this podcast, and it becomes like really popular. This just looks like another fun like romantic comedy that I thought would be really fun. I love romantic comedies to kind of like, I don't know, to kind of reset your palate after like reading like, you know, really emotional books. Another one I have is Maybe in Another Life. This is a discussion book this month in my book club as well. I think in this one she gets to like live two different lives. Like she kind of like splits and lives two different realities or something like that. One where, you know, with like different guys, I think like two different guys. Like what if she had gotten with this guy? It's Taylor Jenkins Reid, so obviously it's going to be amazing. And I basically just bought it because my book club was doing the discussion and I've wanted to read it for a while, so it was just an excuse to get it. So plan on reading that one. For a buddy read, I'm doing The Wrong Family by Taryn Fisher. I don't really know what this one is about, but it's a thriller, I'm pretty sure. Like a domestic thriller, I think. But anyway. And then I got this one already. I pre-ordered this. Kristen Hanna, The Four Winds. So I'm like, oh, you know, I love Kristen Hanna, but really all I've read is The Great Alone. And now I'm going to read 2 of her books in 1 month, but that's okay. I think that this cover is absolutely gorgeous. This is going to be another emotional one. You know, that's kind of what Kristen Hanna's novels are pretty emotional, hard hitter. It's like all sparkly. I'm pretty sure this takes place during the Great Depression and spans over a few years. So I don't know. I don't really know a whole lot about it. It's got very large print. I just saw like a picture. I was going to see if I could find another one in here to show you guys. Yeah. So it goes by like the years, and it's got like a little picture and a quote. That one's by Franklin D. Roosevelt. So that's super cute. This one might actually be a little bit of an education too. Okay, so then I have 2 books on NetGalley. Yes, 2 books on NetGalley. One of them I meant to read last month, but I didn't get to it. That was Into the Woods by David Mark. And then I also want to read The Dog Share, which I'm sorry, I don't have the author's name off the top of my head on that one. But those are 2 NetGalley books that I'm gonna try to read this month. And then at some point, I think it's on like the 16th or something like that, A Court of Silver Flames comes out. And I did pre-order that book, so whenever it gets in, I plan on reading that as well this month. And I think that's everything I have for this month. So kind of like a lot of romance. We've got some like contemporary, like emotional stuff, and some fantasy. So kind of a good, I mean, and a thriller. So we got a little good mix of genres there. So anyway, I'm super excited. You know, I love reading those big books like The Way of Kings, but they really hinder what you can read in a month, you know, because it takes so long to read them. So I'm kind of excited to knock out some smaller books this month and kind of see what I can read, get some like, you know, refreshing, fun, like, you know, uplifting, I don't know, books in instead of, you know, these huge books that are about like, you know, fantasy and all that stuff. So anyway, yeah, that's what I've got going on for February. And I am just like holding on and waiting for spring because I am over the snow and the cold. So anyway, bye y'all.